Hi crew, and on this week's Gamerlife Level 13, we're going to be talking about a crazy interesting topic to me personally. That is VR a gimmick or here to stay as the gamer? How does it affect us as gamers today rather than 15, 20 years from now? Again, you're watching this on Locked on Target. Alright, now that the break's done, let's just get started into this. So, first thing I want to clarify is that calling something a gimmick is not really a criticism that I take very seriously. And let me explain that. So, basically, the way I see gimmicks is that they are poorly received innovations. So, like motion controls, yeah, I mean, they're still very innovative. They still added a new dimension to gameplay. You may call them a gimmick, but I remember going to Kosai and playing with. They had this machine like 10 years before the Wii, where you put on these gloves, and then it mocapped where you were in front of the screen, and you could like block balls that were coming at you, and you were a goalie or play volleyball or anything like that. And that blew my mind. Like, it still blows my mind, and it tells me what gaming is capable if we fully utilize this technology. Because I had so much fun that I just stayed at that exhibit for like 3 to 4 hours, just getting back in line to play the same simple volleyball games and blocking balls coming at me in soccer, seeing if I could best my high score. Which, if you know anything about me, I'm not one of those people that goes out for high scores, and that's just how fun the experience was. Now, let's get on to the topic in general. I believe VR is a gimmick in the best kind of way. It's one of the things that is optional and that can expand our interaction with the world. There's games I have seen, not personally, but I have heard about. Like there's this one that's showing up at the cons that is basically don't panic or something like that. You defuse a bomb, but everyone else can see the bomb schematics on the TV, but the person who is defusing the bomb can only see the bomb itself. So the people inside of the room are telling you how to defuse the bomb. That is an interesting gameplay mechanic that is impossible with current hardware, except maybe on the Wii U, and you have your friend go outside of the room with the gamepad, and then it's, you know, that type of thing. But that's kind of lame, you know. But that's kind of a party game, and that doesn't actually give any sustainable or actual gameplay that, you know, works past one night. You wouldn't want to go into that as a solo experience. So as my friend Alloy7, who is the originator of these Gamerlife's discussions and discussion topics, which I'll link his video below, has mentioned in one of his critiques of the Wii U, which I think applies to all consoles in general, ironically, is that they're karaoke machines. They're entertainment devices that you bring out to basically serve other people and serve at parties. I believe VR is exactly that karaoke machine. I don't see it offering any meaningful experience beyond what it is right now. The people say, you may argue that, oh, well, I just feel completely immersed, much more so. And I said, yeah, a bigger screen does leave you more immersed. However, a developer has to use this well to actually make it a part of a game. So here's what I mean. So right now, we have a very specific level of design. We have game design arranged around one solitary screen. What I mean by this is a lot of gamers, especially in the PC community, have dual monitors. Have any developers taken real advantage of this? You may argue that there are some racing games that do actually support triple monitors, where you can actually get Eyefinity, which is the NVIDIA equivalent of just doing triple monitors, and then it skews your perspective over 3 monitors. However, the amount of games that take advantage of this properly are slim to none, because the install base is slim to none. And this is where I think VR is going to run into its big problem. One is that no one is going to have the hardware that's necessary to run it properly. Unless you're extremely high-end, my new PC can't run VR properly at 90 frames, 1080p in each eye. 2 images at 1080p at 90 frames a second is a heck ton for games to, or for any PC to run at, unless you're running simple games. I mean, very simple games. So I don't think these are going to be engrossing experiences at all with the current level hardware. But I'm not talking about VR in 15, 20 years. I'm talking about VR right now, here in 2015. I don't think we're going to see good games. I don't think we're going to see many games at all. And that is where I think we're going to have the fallout, is developers are not going to utilize this technology, just like they don't utilize the Kinect or the PlayStation Move, because the install base is a fraction of what it is for just developing a better core experience for more people. So here is what my argument is, okay? Basically, the developers have X amount of time and X amount of dollars to produce a game, right? Now, say that you have a user base that is only 5 to 10% of the market, which I believe in the first 2 years, VR is not going to reach even that, okay? Maybe 5% of the gaming market as a whole. Heck, I can make an argument with you that a 30% of Xbox 360s haven't even connected to the live service, okay? So, before you start, like, jumping on the 10% is not going to happen, I believe that that's the sales figures we're going to see. 10% adoption max, okay? So game developers have this 10%, okay, of an audience that they can cater to. Or they can sell more units by giving more features in this direction. You better bet they're going to tack on some VR just to say, oh look, we support VR, and look how amazing it is. Just like they support 3D in the movies now. So, very few 3D movies actually support 3D properly. That's because it's a marginalized audience. You have to understand that there's going to be indies, and there's going to be some dedicated gaming experiences. But I don't have very much hope, because it's not going to see the wide-scale adoption, especially since no one has the hardware to run it properly without inducing motion sickness and whatnot. I think it's a thing. I think it's here that's going to change gaming, and I'm interested to try it myself. Right now, I'm very interested in the technology. I'm one of those early adopters, the 10%. So don't get me wrong. I think what it offers is a great experience. I cannot wait to explore in an MMO environment. Just going around, like Skyrim with this, with a VR mod, would be so awesome. I mean, awesome. And you don't see your hands very much unless you're doing that, unless you're doing like spells or whatnot. So it would just be phenomenal. That's the type of game I think that VR can do well. The ones where you explore the world when you're just taking in the world around you. But games, Twitch games like FPS gameplay, like Call of Duty, where you have to do snapshots and literally flip around and do 180s in the space of 0.2 seconds, that's gonna kill you. Like, it's going to, if VR isn't going to make its way into the competitive gaming scene, so it's not going to really make its way out into the masses per se, because no competitive game can really react along with VR unless you're talking something simple like doing VR chess, okay, which isn't a league right now that gamers are interested in watching. Well, I'm interested in watching, but that's because I've played chess all my life. But, that's what I'm saying. It's not, you're not going to find that on MLG or the front page of Twitch, okay? That's just not going to happen. Now, Sorry, I'm just imagining like chess, like some live streamer like trying out like VR chess and like completely failing, and everyone telling him like pawn to e4, pawn to e4. Oh my gosh, you freaking noob! Like, sorry, I'm just imagining like the backseat gamers trying to talk people through VR. But sorry, that's another thing is I don't see VR being a shareable experience. So here's what I mean by that. You need a VR. We have no way to simulate VR on our current screens, okay? You need a VR system to see what other people are seeing in VR. So you can't share that experience with just like random people on YouTube right now. I mean, YouTube will probably support VR format in some form, just like they support 3D format. But again, I think we're talking about a marginalized audience, and the support's just not going to be there, especially since, you know, the developers here are like, you know, just random game companies. You know, they're not going to, I mean, yeah, Google Cardboard is a thing, don't get me wrong, but as far as I can see, I just don't see the major platforms like YouTube just saying, you know what, this thing has an install base of 250,000, we're going to support this, when they can't even support annotations correctly or update them to give a meaningful way to save annotations before for us content creators, okay? I don't think they're going to support going forward video formats in any meaningful way, except to make them searchable or to make them an option to better their own service. They're not going to give support. Video editing programs currently do not accommodate this, so if you want to edit these videos that you're going to take, guess what? You're going to need to update your editor, so that means you're either subscribed to Adobe or, you know, you have to buy whatever new program comes out. So, I mean, there's a wall there. There's just walls everywhere, and I'm not saying you can't traverse them. Again, I'm probably going to buy one of these, probably the HTC Vive or the Steam OS. I'm not saying you can't traverse these. I'm saying these are real walls that we need to get past. And I'm not even talking about the gaming experience as a whole, okay? Because I don't think we have a grasp of how to design games for this experience. I don't think we have the tools to right now. I don't think we have the know-it-all, and I don't think we have the imagination. Trust me when I say we have so little innovation in the AAA industry right now. How in the world are you going to expect AAA game developers to utilize VR in any meaningful way? Okay, sorry, I don't want to get into pretty much that, but just to kind of summarize my opinion as a gamer, I think VR is here to stay, and I think it's going to change gaming forever. But I just don't see it being as impactful as a lot of people are saying, and I haven't gotten into the constraints of VR that are causing more and more issues, such as it needing to be wired because it literally cannot get the transfer rates that are necessary over our current wireless technologies, which will change in 3 to 4 years anyways. But until then, wireless or wired headsets are a thing. Not trying to say anything, but see if I can get this. You see this? It's a wire on my mouse. That's because if you're into any type of actual gaming, yeah, and this is the Razer Naga, by the way. I love this mouse. I highly recommend it to anyone. Yeah, that's programmable buttons on the side, by the way. If you're in the gaming, 0.001 response time may not seem like much, and in actuality it's not, but it's one of those things that you want to make sure that your hardware is with you all the way, so you get the best that you can, okay? I don't think that VR is going to lose the wire, and I don't think we're going to get pass-through. And what I mean by that is to be able to see your hands and interact with the world just by doing pass-through, because it adds another problem of 6 or so inches with these clunky machines. where the cameras are starting to take the picture 6 or so inches. And if you know anything about camera technology, wide apertures like that, or wide visions like that, are very specialized lenses that you can't just pick up for cheap. Okay, it's just going to drive the cost up and up and up and up, and the technology isn't there yet. I mean, it's just, we're going to have problems with immersion, and me not being able to see my hands is going to be a big issue for me. Me not being able to interact with the world with my hands is going to be a huge disconnect, or to be able to see my controller. I very rarely look at my controller, but there are times when I need to look at my keyboard, even after being a PC gamer for 13 years. So, my hands get misaligned, especially in MOBAs. You know, I get off the QWE R rotation and go down to WAS or WAD, whatever's the fourth key in that row. You know, I go down, I switch rows on accident because, you know, I'm in the moment, and you can't do that. But yeah, sorry about this being a little longer and tangential, but that's kind of gamer life in a nutshell. Now, to summarize this, I think VR is a great thing for the gaming industry. I don't think it's going to see the wide-scale adoption unless you bundle it with a console and make it mandatory like Kinect tried to do, and that failed so hard and so miserably that it's ridiculous. And the Kinect is a wonderful piece of hardware, okay? Don't get me wrong. You may hate on the Kinect or whatever, but, you know, the applications I've seen with the Kinect, and I don't own one, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's worth $100, but the applications I've seen from that piece of technology in the world outside of gaming shows me what a wonderful piece of technology that can be, that is just not being utilized properly by game developers. So again, you know, I just don't see the net positive of games that are going to come out. I know that they can happen. I know that developers can do it, but I just don't see that they have the vision to really put out compelling experiences at this point. But yeah, again, that's just me being doom and gloom and whatnot. But I'm going to opt into these if I get the chance, because I want to be on the cutting edge. I want to be that gamer who says I owned blardy blar, and I was one of the first to experience VR in its primitive stages. You know, that's me. But for the gamer as a whole, I don't see this as being a positive or well-received experience, at least until next generation of devices. And I don't mean next generation, I mean full dissemination of these devices where everyone has one in their home. Again, I'm very excited about this topic. Hopefully, you know, if you guys want to join the discussion and add to your thoughts, please, I know I've probably stirred up a lot of hornet's nests with this discussion. Please, like, comment, and subscribe. But, you know, if you wanted to add your own discussion in here, please post it here. Post it on Alloy 7's video. Make your own video response. Join into the discussion. Just, you know, come alongside us, because we are your friends here, and we just want to have an honest discussion that's positive, okay? And if you're negative, you know, I'll respond to you. But again, we're just looking for positive responses, because we're a community here. We're not just some angry people talking about stuff. But again, thank you, and until we meet again, stay on target.